Hi, welcome to the Retro Shed. Thank you for joining me. Now, the past few episodes, I felt all I've done is really fix stuff and do stuff up and do a bit of retro writing. So today I thought I would go back to a bit of gaming. Now, about a week ago, I booted up a cracking game on the Xbox, the original Xbox, from very late in its life, called Black by Criterion and Electronic Arts. And it really is a cracking game. Now, in February 2006, I was wondering whether it was time to mothball my trusty old original little Xbox. Well, it's not really little, was it? It was a monster of a console when Criterion, who were the developers of the Burnout franchise, released a first-person shooter to kick a lot of the other first-person shooters where it hurt. And that game was none other, of course, than Black, which is quite brilliant. Published by EA, Black was released back in the day when EA was actually quite a decent company. They published some decent games actually before it turned into the loathsome, greedy company that we actually know today. Now, I know what you're thinking, not another first-person shooter on the Xbox, but this game is different, and it is actually a true gem of a game that you don't really hear much of today. You don't really see any views for it, and hardly anyone ever mentions it. So that's why I thought I'd take a look at this, because I thoroughly enjoyed playing Black back in the day. And I just wanted to blast on something the other night, and this game came into my mind. So I thought, well, I may as well do a video on it. Now, I'm hoping you'll see exactly why I love this game so much. It was released on the original Xbox and the PS2. Although the Xbox was nearing the end of its life, this game showed just how powerful that console really was, because the game looks absolutely brilliant. And it sounds brilliant as well. Every single gun in this game sounds and looks awesome. Every gun has a unique sound that's based on its real-world counterpart. And when there's a full-pitch gunfight going on, it does sound a little bit like the lobby scene from the movie The Matrix. In fact, the sound from this game is so good that it was nominated for the Best Audio Award at the 2006 BAFTA Video Game Awards. It really is that good. What is Black all about? Well, it's about guns.
Lots of guns.
And that's pretty much it. Lots of enemies, lots of shooting, just mow everybody down. There is kind of like a plot, but it's not really important. The plot was shoehorned into the game at the end of its development. The game mainly takes place in Russia, and you play the part of a Black Ops operative called Jack Keller. They're always called Jack for some reason, and he's been up to no good, and he's basically being framed by the CIA to spill the beans on what he's been up to, or they will get very angry with him. It's something to do with smuggling and stopping a bunch of terrorists known as Seventh Wave. Seventh Wave sounds to me more like a trendy surf shack that you'll find off the coast of Cornwall, or perhaps something that was going to be released by Bose. This is a first-person shooter, but there's so much more to it than that. You can carry two weapons at once, and you do need to choose very carefully because you'll need specific tools to get the job done at certain points in the game. The enemies do come thick and fast, and they are a little bit like bullet sponges unless you can get some face or headshots, in which case you'll drop them pretty quick. It's not quite as bad as The Division, but there are times when you would be pumping at least half a magazine into an enemy to get them to stay down. Now, what makes this game so much fun is the fact that most of the environment can be destroyed around you. Bullets will pass through wood, walls, and all sorts of things like that. And if you are hiding behind something, don't be surprised if that something does not last more than a few seconds, especially when you're taking a lot of incoming fire. Taking cover in this game is absolutely vital, but the same rules apply to the enemy. If you shoot anything with an explosives logo on it, well, you can guess what's going to happen, and you can end up taking out a lot of enemies just by putting a few bullets carefully placed in the side of an old petrol tank that just happens to be lying around here and there. Visible damage is left on almost everything that you shoot at, which gives a bit of a realistic feel to quite an unrealistic game. Hollywood magazines abound in this game, but the weapons do sound wonderful, and they look wonderful as well. There's a lot of detail that's been lovingly put into the visuals of each and every weapon, and the sound, as I said before, is just fabulous. The loading and cocking of rifles is very satisfying. Now, on the subject of reloading, you need to pick your moment carefully, because every time you reload your gun, a depth of field blur effect is rendered to all the background visuals, so your focus is purely on your weapon and slamming another magazine into it. It does look neat, but you have to be careful when you reload, because you can get shot at where you can't see what the hell is going on. The plot to me wasn't very important during this game. All I wanted to do was shoot people. But at the beginning and the end of every single level, there is a stylishly rendered cutscene that gives you a bit of idea of what's going on, and it features the CIA agent and your operative. And it's nicely done. It looks nice and it looks all nice and stylish. But to be honest with you, all I did was mash the buttons and get it out of the way as fast as possible, because there's only one reason to play Black, and it's not to watch the dialogue and the cutscenes, I will be honest with you. The game is absolutely excellent. I love it to bits, and it was very well received on the whole. It was criticised for being only a single-person campaign. There are no multiplayer modes. There are no online modes at all. It's just you and the campaign's 8 levels, and it did get criticised a little bit for that. But you know what? I don't care about such things. I just wanted a damn good gun shooter, and that's exactly what you've got here. Now, the levels are quite big, so you won't be blasting through this really quickly. Now, there was originally going to be a Black 2, but this idea was scrapped due to differences between the developer and EA. Many of the team did go on to develop a spiritual successor to Black called Body Count in 2011, but this was by far an inferior game to Black, and it's really not worth worrying about. If you ever wondered just how powerful the PS2 and the Xbox really were, just take a look at this game. Visually, it's amazing. Some of the night levels with lighting and particle effects are superb. Smoke and explosions are rendered beautifully. And if there's a lot of gunfire going on, don't be surprised if you can't actually see your enemy because there's so much smoke in the environment. It's an absolute gem. And if you like first-person shooters, you will love Black. If you don't like it, there's not a lot of hope for you, I'm afraid. Here's a quick look at Black on the original Xbox.
2-1, do you copy? Over. 2-1, do you read me? Over. If you copy, I am proceeding to RV. Out.
There's no aim assist in this game, so it's not like a lot of the modern first-person shooters where you can just double-click a button and lock onto your enemy. So you're purely reliant on your skills aiming to actually hit people. And as you could see back then, I'm a bit rusty playing this. I particularly like the lighting effects through the trees. I think that's supposed to be in the moonlight, but it does look quite brilliant. So as you can see, the enemies are a little bit bullet spongy. I must have emptied half a magazine into him, and he was still shooting at me. You can get a good headshot in, pretty much they'll go down on one hit, but body shots, you can empty half a mag into one of them and they'll still stand. Which is fine, it's not meant to be realistic. The sound effects are good, aren't they? You can hear the trees, and reminds me a little bit like the original Ghost Recon Level 1. The higher you go into the mountains, the more you can hear the trees and the wind. Can't hit a barn door.
2-1, this is 3. Nothing heard. Proceeding to top hat. Over.
And the developers really went out of their way to make the weapons look really detailed. Not only did they sound brilliant, they actually look brilliant as well. And you can really see how much the developers have got to grips with the old Xbox at this point in its life. As I said earlier, the 360 had been out a few months now, and I had my heart set on one. But when this came out, I kind of like forgot a bit about the 360 for a while. I played this an awful lot. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. And look at the particle effects there. Look at that smoke particle effect. It's so good. So cover is absolutely essential in this game. You're not going to last very long if you're out in the open. So one of the best tactics is to actually hide and let them come to you. As in all the best first-person shooter games, lots of stuff to shoot at, that will blow up, and if it's got a yellow triangle on it, just blast away, because you're guaranteed to take out a building plus a load of enemies if you can find something like that. There are plenty around, as you'll find out in a minute. Nearly everything blows up in this game, actually. As you can see, almost everything is destructible, so if you find yourself hiding behind what you think is a solid object, chances are it's not going to last very long. You will find yourself cowering behind something that has been absolutely blown away after a few seconds, which is good. I love that aspect of this game. You're not safe anywhere, really. Spraying wildly there. Oh no, I'm really crap at this, aren't I? I can't believe he's still alive. I think I've had enough of it. Grenades do feel heavy in this game. They have a lot of heft to them. When you throw them, they don't go very far at all. Oh, yeah, there's another explosive box. Nice. You can't beat an explosive box to shoot, can you? Some of the graphical touches are wonderful in this game. Look at the fog on the river there. Really nice. That looks nice, doesn't it? Look at that. Oh well, so much for my covert approach, eh?
This is 3. I have heavy forces defending Blockhouse. Over. I say again, I have heavy forces defending Blockhouse, proceeding through objective with advised shortly out.
Yeah, you've got to make use of cover on this bit. There's so many of them, and they just keep coming as well. The AI is not bad actually on the enemies. They will take cover. They don't just... A lot of the time they won't just stand there and let you shoot them. They do tend to run from cover to cover, which makes it slightly harder to actually hit them. They will rush you at times, but on the whole they will use cover. So that's our brief look at Black by Criterion and Electronic Arts. This is on the Xbox, and if you've not played it before, I suggest you go and grab a copy because it really is that good. And if you do have a copy, go and play it. I guarantee you will absolutely love it all over again. So thank you very much for joining me. Take care. Hope you enjoyed that look at Black, and we'll catch you again very soon. Bye-bye.
This is Alpha 2. We have eyes on 2-5. Hammerhead 6-2. This is 2-5. We're pinned down. I have multiple casualties. Request priority medevac on my location. 5-1. This is 3-1. I'm on the other side of the block.